Global deep state. Who are these? Can we put some names, some entities behind this concept called global deep state? Well, I've been doing some research and I've come up with some names which are probably not common household names, yet they wield enormous amount of power. And this is what I want to share with you in this podcast. But before I go on, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to like this particular video. And if you're watching it on a phone, make sure that you have clicked on the bell button for notifications. Here we go. The big three that are running the world are three passive asset management companies. Passive asset management companies: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Between them, they control close to $22 trillion of assets. Now, you compare that with the GDP of United States, which in 2022 was close to $25 trillion. So you're talking about three entities having the same kind of value as the country of United States. Talk of wielding a lot of power. You take a look at, say, for example, BlackRock. BlackRock has invested in many oil companies like the Exxons and other big companies. It has also invested in many gun manufacturers, bomb manufacturers, technology people. So no matter what, whoever is doing well, these guys do better. Now, if they need something to boost up sales, well, let us start a conflict. Russia versus Ukraine. And again, these people have cleaned up big. So Vanguard is not far behind. So let's take a look at their valuations first, and then we can go from there on. Here we go. So if you look at BlackRock, which also in turn owns State Street, 10 trillion in assets. Vanguard has 8 trillion and State Street has 4 trillion. Now, there's also interlocking in the sense that Vanguard owns 10% of BlackRock, BlackRock perhaps owns 10% of Vanguard, and again, BlackRock practically owns State Street. You can go and look them up on any website that controls all these financials and stock information. You will get exact data. I'm just looking at the big picture: 22 trillions here and 25 trillion in the United States GDP. Now, where else do they have their tentacles spread? If you look at Apple, they own 14%, Microsoft 15%, Amazon 13%, Alphabet, which is Google's parent holding company, 14%, Tesla Motors 11%, and IBM 16%. Like I said, these people own a lot of companies, and doesn't matter where is problem, these people tend to clean up big. I'll also tell you one other thing that we have actually connected the dots here. I would like somebody to rebut me on this. So remember that Hindenburg research thing when the Adani stock dropped like a rock? Just guess who cleaned up? They came in when Adani prices were really low, and now Adani prices have recovered. So they came in low, and now they have made a lot of money. Who was it? BlackRock. So does it now mean that Adani is gold? Well, see, this is where things get a little murky. Not everybody probably is pulling in the same direction. Sometimes they may even do some small games here and there to try and make it look like the two are not interrelated. It's up to us to draw our conclusions. But now we know that there are some big entities. These people have big amounts of money behind them, and they are essentially wielding a lot of influence. So, what is anyone going to do about it? And that's the question. Now, I'm going to share some more information with you, which is probably going to knock your socks off. Are all the politicians in this too? Well, here are some examples. Putin owns Rosneft. Practically, he owns every big company that is manufacturing or pumping out gas in Russia. Now, CEFC, China's Energy Finance Corporation, now it's closed, it's morphed itself into a new company name. I believe it is now completely owned by people who are very close to Xi Jinping. It used to be with the other group, Xiao Zhaming's group, and now it is believed that the same entity continues to own 10% in Rosneft. It also owns 10% in Burisma, which is the Ukrainian energy company, that the control has changed to Xi Jinping's group. Now, the interesting thing is Biden, this is confirmed now. I mean, he has taken bribes from both CEFC as well as Burisma. The amounts may change a little bit. It's in our estimate, it's 32 million from CEFC and it is 44 million from Burisma. You can go back and look at some of the videos that we have put out. Then you'll get the actual data, how this got transferred, who were the names behind all these, shell company names. Uh, Now, the other interesting thing, I don't know how many of you know this, is that Sonia Gandhi's 2G loot, the money that she made out of 2G, 36,000 crores, more or less. And that, this is again in 2006, 2007 timeline. Now it's probably worth much more than that, is also in Rosneft. So you now know that some politicians are tight. And it doesn't matter what kind of conflicts happen, they can always call each other up and say, okay, now I have reached my goal. Let's move on. Let's draw the line here. This shall become the new boundary between X and Y, and life continues on. Because then there'll be a peace dividend. Because the war has stopped, again the prices will go up, and everybody makes even more money. You get the point. But not all politicians are in this group. Who are the exceptions? Here we take a quick look. By no means is this an exhaustive list. This is just a list that I compiled because right now the Republican primaries are going to be coming up very shortly. And I thought I should share this nugget with all you viewers. For example, Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a businessman before he decided to jump into politics. He never rose through the ranks. He wasn't like a congressman or a senator or a governor or a district attorney. All these are the routes that you can take to come to presidency, but he just did it by the force of his arguments about how illegals are coming in and so on and so forth. And he did do some changes, but he couldn't bring in all his changes. Clearly, he was not beholden to any group, but that's why they have been going to such great lengths to keep him out. Do something or the other, just make sure that he does not become the Republican candidate. One other candidate that deserves our attention is Vivek Ramaswamy. He has made his millions running startups. He's actually funding his own campaign. He's not in the pocket of any of these entities. He doesn't need anybody's support. He thinks he can run it all the way, but he might at some point of time turn to the public and say, now you need to support me because that's the only way I can make sure I'm not beholden to anyone's interest. So this is where things stand now. Very, very interesting set of stats. And on the 22nd of August, there's going to be a debate among the Republican contenders. Donald Trump has decided to give it a miss. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because he's not very confident of taking on Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek's pretty sharp. I mean, he can think with his feet. You can see that in many town hall meetings, he is able to hold his own despite getting ambushed. So that is a very good trait to have for a politician. So let's wait and see what happens. On the 22nd, it's going to be DeSantis. It's going to be Vivek Ramaswamy. There will be Mike Pence and perhaps a few other people. We'll wait and see how it goes. I hope this video explains to you who are some of the names behind what I would call as global deep state, because these are people who can influence a lot of events, and they do. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.